It is the start of the best 5 days of the football season as we're set for the college football semifinals and the NFL wildcard weekend. We're all set to preview all of the games and share our best bets. Zach Ewing and the Pick'em crew is here. That should be fun because we've been so good lately. Also, Zach and I will review the Saints season-ending wrap-up press conference. Did Mickey Loomis say anything that can help us read through the tea leaves? Oh, and yet another NFL coach got fired this morning. I wonder who. Unlike John Harbaugh, this one actually makes sense. We'll talk about all that. We'll talk about all that and open the show with LSU football, the NIL, and why players might soon be begging to stay in college and ask for 16 years of eligibility soon. It's all the fun we normally have on a Friday. Here on a Thursday, it's the Dattitude podcast, and it starts now.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? Coaches come, coaches go, but we are always here at Dattitude, episode number 461, presented by Evangeline Securities for a special Thursday edition, Thursday, January the 8th, 2026. We used to always do the Pick'em on Thursday until we decided I don't remember when we decided to go to 3 days a week, but at some point we changed it up. Instead of 4 days a week doing our Pick'em on Thursday, moved the Pick'em and crammed Thursday and Friday all together. That's what we're doing here today. We're moving it to Thursday because the CFP starts tonight. We decided to come in a day early. You can still watch it on Friday, although you might miss some of the picks because I think the entire Pick'em crew has something in their best bets on tonight's game. It's not all the same bet, but we all have something on tonight. Well, who am I? I'm part of the Pick'em crew. I'm your host, Jim Derry. I'm 35 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. Look, I am telling you hello. I am inviting you all to tell me hello back, especially if you are watching live. Type it in the comments. That is what is special about our show. You type in your comments on YouTube or Facebook, and I talk back to you. Most of the time, it's nice. Sometimes we award you Dumbass of the Week. We haven't had a Dumbass of the Week. We got a candidate coming up. That's coming up later in the show. We are usually, I would say 80% of the time we are live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Obviously, this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're watching after the fact or listening to any of the major podcast platforms, we're on all of them. You get in touch with me if you want to talk to me on X at Jim Derry Jr. or via email, as many of you have done. Jim at jimderry.com. If you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so. Give us a like, thumbs up, click the little bell. When we have weird show times like today, you'll always know when we are live. What is on today's show? A lot's on today's show. I give you a heads up. We got Zach Ewing here about 11:30-ish, maybe a little before. Kind of depends on what's going on with him. They are recording the LSU Insider Show at NOLA.com, but he is going to come on as soon as he's done with that. We're going to talk, Zach and I are going to talk Saints, and I'm going to get his picks for the NFL wildcard weekend and the CFP semifinals. I'm going to have to be careful because obviously the Pick'em crew, and I don't want to mess up. I don't want to give too many spoiler alerts. We'll see how I do with that. That's coming up later. Also, I told you yesterday to check out, if you haven't done so, if you haven't got a chance to, check it out later today. I am going to put up a link on X and Facebook. I meant to yesterday, I forgot, but I did a podcast with Doug Mouton, who is a regular guest on the show. In fact, he is coming on next Wednesday, I believe he is coming on. He hadn't been on in a while, but it was the first time I did his podcast. They do a podcast on WWL. He and Ross Jackson, who's been on the show a few times as well, the Locked On, they do a podcast together and it comes up on Wednesday afternoons. And I tell you, I've been asked a few times. I never had a chance to do it. This week, I actually had a Tuesday night where I could get away. And I went and did the show. They do it from the Channel 4 studios in the French Quarter. it was so much fun. I'll definitely do that again. Anyway, I will set up a link, send it to you. We talked, it was pretty much all Saints. I don't think they always talk all Saints, but it was in this case. So, but we had a lot of fun, including, I didn't know they do this. They do a segment at the end called Last Call, where they actually have a drink on the show. That was fun. Ross Jackson made us ginger margaritas. That was a lot of fun. All right, so I will send a link. You can check that out again. I think Doug Mouton is coming on the show on Wednesdays as we get back to kind of our off-season routine that is coming up. It's going to be weird not talking about games. It was already weird making some of these graphics that didn't have like Saints lines in them and LSU lines and all that. We're going to talk a little bit about LSU this morning. We're going to talk LSU working on trying to get at least they're talking to Washington quarterback Damon Williams, but there could be a snag there. The University of Washington is actually talking about lawsuits. Why? Because Williams said that he was going to stay. He announced he was going to stay at Washington, and then he said, you know what? I want to go into the portal. I'm going to ask it. In fact, Gabe, are you ready to come on? I want to ask you a question real quick. Gabe knows the answer to these things better than I do, so I'm going to ask you this. When it comes to the portal, if you told me yesterday that a school has to give a player his release, correct?
They have to help enter the player into the portal.
They have to enter the player into the portal. So in this case, Damon Williams and Washington doesn't want to let him go. Why can't we just say no and he's not going? And it's as simple as that. I don't understand.
Well, we saw it last year. I don't remember where the player was transferring from, but he transferred to Miami. And what he did, because his school wouldn't grant him a release, he left the program and then he walked on at Miami. Now, I mean, you could technically do that.
Okay.
And I think if this gets really messy, that's something that could happen.
And so then if he leaves the program and walked on at LSU, they could still give him the money, but does he have to go in a leap of faith, basically, that they're going to give him the money?
For all intents and purposes, yes. But, I mean, we all know money is no issue.
Yeah, that's true. Right. All right. Well, we may talk more about this later on when UBN comes on as well. I just think it's a weird situation. I mean, this whole NIL crap is weird.
Here's the thing. It's going to become more regular because college football is in a place. And I don't blame the players at all. I don't think the players are in the wrong. It is ungovernable right now. College football is doing nothing about it.
It's like a free
wild west.
It really is. It's so stupid.
And people just do whatever they want.
So. Yeah, absolutely. We may talk about this before we do our pick 'em in a little bit. So
for sure,
be ready for it. All right, thanks, Gabe. Gabe Henderson, everybody. He will be coming on later with the pick 'em crew. And look, this whole NIL thing. And again, I'm going to get to my breaking news in just a second, but I wanted to talk about this for just a moment. It is insane. It is exactly what Gabe said. It's the wild, wild west. It's a mess. If they don't get Damon Williams, I know they're probably going to work on Sam Levitt. But if you're Sam Levitt from Arizona State, do you feel like chopped liver right now? I mean, this guy, for not that long ago, maybe just a few weeks ago, to me, I thought was going to be the top quarterback being pursued in the portal. And now he's like, it seems almost like, is he playing second fiddle to Damon Williams? Is he playing second fiddle to where is he going to end up? The Sorsby kid that LSU was talking about, that's the first player that they went after. And according to The Athletic, what I was reading this morning is Sorsby got $5 million from Texas Tech after LSU offered him $3.5 million. Now, to put this into context, and again, I'm going to get to my breaking news in a minute and talk about the coach that was fired. But to put this into context, how just ridiculous and stupid this whole thing is. Look, I've said this before I get into put it into context. I've said this before. The NCAA deserves what they're getting right now. They deserve the wild, wild west because the players absolutely have the right to do what they're doing right now. And if the NCAA would have just said a long time ago, we're going to pay players and not be greedy and give them some of this money, some of this millions and billions that we're raking in, they probably wouldn't be in this situation. But one threatened lawsuit opened this up to the wild, wild west. So here we are. But again, to put this into context, okay, Brennan Sorsby, again, got $5 million from Texas Tech after being offered $3.5 million from LSU. Do you know what Shedeur Sanders' rookie contract is? Do you know? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. This will put it into context. Again, I want to state this. Sorsby got $5 million for 1 year. $5 million at Texas Tech. Shedeur Sanders' 4-year rookie contract is worth $4.6 million. Shedeur Sanders is getting less money on a 4-year deal than Brennan Sorsby's getting for 1 year at Texas Tech. And look, I know I joke about Shedeur Sanders and say I don't think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback, but I would absolutely rather have Shedeur Sanders as my quarterback in college than Brennan Sorsby. And I don't care. I don't know anything about Brennan Sorsby. Gabe says no. I don't care. I don't know anything about Brennan Sorsby. Doesn't matter. $5 million. I mean, this is where we are. Again, that's what it is. That's where we are. Tyler Shuck, the 40th pick of the NFL draft last year. The New Orleans Saints, future at quarterback, supposedly, right? Brennan Sorsby got $5. I keep saying it because I'm trying to put this into context. $5 million. Tyler Shuck's contract. A lot of you know it, but some of you don't. 4 years, $10.8 million. That's right. $10.8 million. That's not $10.8 million a year. That's 10.8 total. That's why I told you back in August when they were trying to figure out whether, he wanted his contract. He didn't want to. Maybe it was even in July when we were talking about he hadn't got his contract yet. Like, just give him that $11 million. Who cares? $11 million is pocket change in over 4 years. That's like buying Gabe lunch. That's what $11 million is in the NFL. And in college football, it's starting to become a similar thing. $5 million a year is representative of somewhere near the 20th pick of the NFL draft. That's what $5 million a year is like. So, I mean, I joke about college players. At some point soon, they're going to say, you know what? I just want to stay in college. They're not going to come out like they've been coming out. Unless something changes, I'm telling you right now, more players are going to stay in school than ever before. In a way, that's a good thing. And in a way, it's not so good because they're not going to be loyal. They're not going to stay at the same place. You're not going to see the good players are just going to up and leave if they don't like where they are. If they don't go to Ohio State, if they don't go to, a school that's going to play for the national championship, they're not going to the playoffs. They're just going to leave. It is. It is what it is. So anyway, getting back to the breaking news because I want to get some comments this morning here. I see we got a ton of comments. We got more comments in the queue than we got people watching. That's interesting. What did I wear? Oh yeah. I'm sure most of you saw this. If you haven't, prepare yourselves. I know you're going to be broken up about this. Coach Gucci got fired. I mean, Miami's not in the NFC. We don't play them, but once every couple, 3-4 years. So, I mean, he's probably not going to get another head coaching job. Who the hell am I going to make fun of? It's not going to be the same not having Coach Gucci. I mean, he's probably going to go be an offensive coordinator or a quarterback's coach somewhere. It just won't be. It's not going to be the same. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to miss that dumbass. I really am. I mean, I kind of miss him already. Gabe says he thinks Harbaugh is going to go to Miami now. He amends his predictions from yesterday. I mean, seriously, who the hell are we going to make fun of? I don't know. I got some more to talk about before Zach comes on later, but you know what? I got comment. What are we going to do? Comments, or do we want to talk about Evangeline Securities first? Let's do like just a couple comments to say hello. Oh, well, we got to do this one. I didn't even see this. See, I don't look at the comments at all until I click on them. UBN donating again. Don't spend it on. You know what? I'm going to do, UBN? I'm going to take your $20 super chat and I'm going to bet it on whatever your best bet is. And I'm going to try to double it. That's what I'm going to do. That's pretty dumb, huh? I'm going to do it anyway. Charles Mangus is here. Good morning. The best podcast ever. Thank you for your $5 donation and super chat. We welcome all donations to the show now that we're independent. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. I take them. I appreciate them. Thank you very much to everyone. Let me get to a couple, but I got to tell you about my friends at Evangeline. And there's definitely two more things I want to talk about before we get to the Saints this morning. Christopher Crump says he can't wait till next season. Things are looking up for the Saints. They absolutely are looking up. By the way, I have coming up when Zach comes on, I have how long is it? 1 minute and 29-second clip from Mickey Loomis's press conference yesterday. I know you're all on pins and needles. It's just what I thought were the biggest moments that were not related to Tyler Shuck. Of course, we're going to talk about Tyler Shuck this morning. But I have 1 minute and 29 seconds of Mickey comments that I think, again, trying to read through the tea leaves. What's going to happen in this offseason? That's coming up in a minute. Tedders is here. Good morning. Good morning from balmy 45-degree Boston. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 45 degrees much longer. Enjoy Boston. It's wicked cold. It's going to be wicked cold soon. That's really, really bad Boston accent. It's the best I could do. Chad Gage, hello to all. Tip of the hat to all of us. Thank you so much. As Charles was here with the super chat. Another one bites the dust. Yep, Coach Gucci gone. Tampa keeping his coach. Well, they weren't going to fire him. I mean, look, I make fun of Todd Bowles and I don't want them to fire him. I joke about not wanting him. I didn't want him to be fired. I didn't want Raheem Morris to be fired. Raheem Morris did get fired. I'm going to say this, though. If I were a Tampa fan, which I don't think there are many Tampa fans watching the show, but you can't legitimately fire Todd Bowles. I mean, that'd be silly. I mean, really. Dude he won the division. I don't care if it's a crappy division. Doesn't make a difference how bad the division is. The fact is he won the division 3 times in a row. As bad as what was it, a 7-game losing streak this season? And they win the last game, but it's not good enough and they don't go to the playoffs. You still can't fire him, in my opinion. Good morning, Jerry. How are you? Glad you're here again. We love you. Adam's here. Who dat? Indiana over Oregon already? Oh, he's at work. He's got to watch later. Okay. He's got his predictions. He predicts Oregon to win and Ole Miss to win. All right. We'll see what we pick later on. Lance, who dat, baby? Jerry did watch it's called Ultimate New Orleans Sports Show with Doug Mouton and Ross Jackson. Thank you so much. I will put a link up to that later on, I promise. Yeah, Gabe says we can always make fun of the Titans. Remember the Titans? How can you forget them? They're so bad. You just can't forget them. And I'm going to get to a couple more before I move on because I'm going to come back to the comments after we tell you about our friends at Evangeline and Joe DiStefano Insurance, of course. Jimmy Wildston, good morning. You ready to start screaming who dat just to piss off UBN? How long is UBN going to be screaming about them 49ers? Maybe that'll be in our picks this weekend. Hello, Earl's Picks. Jody Alexander, I want to say Jody had one of the comments of last thing before I get to my friends at Evangeline and Joe DiStefano. Jody suggested that we make Adam Schefter the dumbass of the week. And I was all for it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you didn't see the post on Facebook, you want to talk about the non-, and I mean N-O-N, not N-I-N-E. I know with my Yaddy voice, non and nine sound a lot alike. But in the non-news story of the week, Adam Schefter post, in case you didn't know, that the Saints are entering the offseason with planning for Tyler Shuck to be their starting quarterback next year. That, and Jody post on there. Jody responded and tagged me in there, and a couple other DAT regulars found it and also pointed me in the direction that Adam Schefter should be the dumbass of the week. I mean, because I posted, thanks for the, well, duh. Anyway, I mean, that's where we are now. We're reporting things like that. Breaking news. Tyler Shuck's the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints next year. You want some more breaking news? How about we tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities? They'll break some news for you. Of course, they are the company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. They can also help you with the rest of your life. If that's you, someone you know, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. And from there, you'll be well-informed and begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? You'll have to wait a little bit. We'll fill you more later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities. Speaking of checking out, how about you check out my friend Joe DiStefano? If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DiStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all, and with Joe DiStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. Thanks to Evangeline. Thanks to Joe DiStefano. If you want to sponsor the show, any segment of the show, we have extremely reasonable rates. We would love to talk to you. I am actually going to get out there and start doing this. I have not done enough of trying to go out there and call some potential sponsor, but we are going to do that starting next week. But if you want to get in on it, still got our 2025 pricing. I'm telling you, very reasonable. Be a part of the sponsorship. Have your name, have your company's logo here on the screen. You can do it. Jim at jimderry.com. All right. Before I get to the rest of the comments and we get to Zach in about, I don't know, probably 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not contractually obligated to do it, but here's our Pelicans talk of the day. All right. I am going to acknowledge the New Orleans Pelicans by telling you, in case you didn't know, and judging by the attendance, you haven't. They lost their 9th straight game last night. 5th in a row by 8 or more. They're not just losing, they're getting their asses kicked. Lost their 9th in a row, 5th in a row by 8 or more, and 4 of those 5 by double digits. They are 8-31, and they are currently with two games shy of the midway point now. They are more games out of the play-in game, more games back than the 10th seeded team currently in the NBA's Western Conference than they have wins. They are 9 games back of the play-in game, and they have 8 wins. Fox 8 finally stopped sending me alerts after the game was over. Look, love them to death, and Fox 8 just got in at the wrong time. And seriously, I love all my friends at Fox 8. I think this Gulf Sports Network, I think what they're trying to do is fantastic. I love it. And, they would send me alerts before the game, and they would actually send me an alert like 2 hours before the game to remind me it's coming up. Send me an alert before the game, and then they would send me an alert after the game on what happened. And they even after losses, and they finally stopped doing that. It's so bad, man. I haven't seen any. I got to be honest. It's so bad. It's really embarrassing, and I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how the Pelicans are gonna fix this, but they are a mess. We're gonna talk about them obviously more going forward. Now that we're getting into the Saints off season, we're gonna talk about a lot of things going forward. Probably gonna open this up. Give you a heads up that we'll probably talk a little bit Saints on almost every show, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just in the open. But we're also going to talk about national news at times. What is the national story? We're going to talk about the NIL stuff. We're going to talk about, college basketball is getting into conference play. They're getting hype. Maybe we'll have our friend Tom on again. Tom Casale hasn't been on in a long time. Maybe we'll reach out to him, see if he wants to come on. Best college basketball handicapper on planet Earth, and I'm not exaggerating. You want to make some money? He'll tell you how. So anyway, we're gonna branch out over the course of the next few weeks. Yeah, Gabe says his breaking news in the morning in Adam Schefter style is Patrick Mahomes to start with the Chiefs when he's healthy. Duh. I'm telling you, man. People are starting to look. They are getting to the point where they're already looking for stories. It is crazy. One Smoke, good morning. Let's go Canes. I hear you, man. I don't mean to piss off my Ole Miss friends because I know there probably are some Ole Miss and Saints fans that are over here watching, and I don't mean to pitch off, but I just don't think I can root for the Rebels tonight. And spoiler alert, there might be a reason why. Besides the fact that I just don't want Ole Miss to win. Chad Gage says college football is slimy right now with LSU and Kiffin lacking morals, which is allowed to slim it up so the Tigers so they could buy and ship people and order their T-shirts. I guess I gather what you're saying. Y'all know that I'm not a huge Lane Kiffin fan. I hope I'm so wrong. I hope I'm super wrong about Lane Kiffin. I hope he not only wins at LSU, but stays at LSU for a long time. And 5 years from now, Gabe and UBN are laughing at me. I hope that's the case. But I don't think so. Let's see what else we got here. Where is it? Live TV. Sorry, I kind of lost my place there for a minute. What else we got? Oh, Jerry wants to make his picks. Okay. He's got Indiana. He's got Ole Miss. He's got Rams and Packers on Saturday. He's got Jags, Eagles, and Patriots on Sunday. And Monday, he's got the Steelers. All right. Charles also says that college with the portal and the NIL is screwing up the game. You're right, Gabe. They need to get control of it. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. JC was in the 60s in Denver yesterday. And good morning. You got flurries this morning. Wow. It's winter. You're supposed to get back to the flurries, right? Lance says he loves a cost control future of the franchise. Spend, Mickey, spend. Linderbaum and Fortin are first in line. See if the Raiders are as dumb as they look for Max Crosby. They're not getting rid of Max. I can't say that. They're not really going to get rid of Max Crosby. Ron Hendrickson. What if Sean Payton took a page out of Kiffin's playbook, resigned in Denver, and went to Miami? Why would he do that? Crazy, but Payton wanted to go there before McDaniel was hired. Miami, no. In this day and age, Ron, I will say this. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say, I won't say 0.0, but why would you leave Denver to go to Miami? I mean, because you wanted to go there before? That wouldn't make sense for me for him to leave there. I don't see it. Lance says, Gabe, if he's talking to Gabe, he says he's calling Gucci if he's D'Amico Ryans, letting him know offense lays an egg. Hey, man, I make fun of Coach Gucci, but that wouldn't be a bad place for him. Although they have an OC he's only 1 year in, so I don't know if they're going to get rid of him. Brian says he wonders if Brian Esteve says he wonders if Coach Gucci would still be the coach in Miami had the Ravens not fired Harbaugh. Maybe that's a good question. I don't know. Bart Prudhomme says Morris will be on the Saints' team next year. Okay. I have no prediction there. Earl's picks. The next shocking firing would be Tomlin when the Steelers lose this weekend. Gabe's been kind of saying that. I don't think so. I don't think so. Bart's already making his prediction for the Panthers is one and done in the playoffs in a blowout. Yeah, everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks they're going to get blown out. Oh, no, I say everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. I don't know. And then Chad Gage says the Giants are interviewing Rizzi according to Schefter for head coach. Good luck with that. Yeah, Gabe says he said it's time for Tomlin and the Steelers to part. Didn't necessarily mean firing. It means they would walk away. And then Barry Ulay, good morning. Anyone that would leave Denver to live in Miami, obviously I've never been to both cities. LOL. I don't know. There's lots of. It's not about where you live. To me, if you're an NFL coach, it's about the team you're coaching. I mean, I could pick 32 teams. If I were an NFL head coach, I'm not going to rank the cities because I don't feel like getting into all that, and then things start getting stupid. But I mean, if you rank the 32 cities, all right, and I'm an NFL head coach, I don't care if I think the best job is in the city I least want to live in. I'm still going to go there. And if I have a job where he's brought Denver back from the dead, why would he leave there? He's got his quarterback. I mean, I don't personally like Bo Nix, but that's his quarterback. That's the guy he hopes is the next Drew Brees. Will he be? I mean, I doubt it, but that's what Sean Payton thinks. So I just don't see him leaving. I just think that would be silly. Zach said he's running a little bit late, and he'll be here in about 2 or 3 minutes. So we'll have him in just a minute. All right. There was one other thing. What else? I wanted to go back to the NIL a little bit. And what do we think LSU is going to do? Because I tell you, man, if you didn't hear me say this before, if you're Damon Williams, I almost said Damon Wilson, you big dummy. You weren't here yesterday when I was messing up everybody's name. Damon Wilson. Yeah. I'm going to go to Sanford and Son. If you weren't listening before, talking about Washington quarterback Damon Williams, and will Washington let him go? Are they going to put up this legal fight? Is it going to matter? Will he be able to leave? Will he be able to find a way to come to LSU if that's what he wants to do, or somewhere else? But now if you're Sam Levitt again, the Arizona State quarterback, and you're sitting here and you have to go through all this mess, and now you feel like chopped liver. I mean, what does that do? You have to wonder. So I just think that, look, I hate this whole NIL thing. And we're going to get to, again, CFP playoffs. In case you don't know, let me put that slide up there, because we're going to spend time talking about this morning. Miami is a 3-point favorite over Ole Miss. That game is tonight in the Fiesta Bowl CFP semifinals, total of 52.5. And then the Peach Bowl is tomorrow. So you got 5 straight days of football. You got the Fiesta tonight at 6:30. You got the Peach Bowl tomorrow with Oregon and Indiana. Oregon is a 3.5-point underdog against Indiana. And then you have the playoffs, the NFC playoffs starting on Saturday. You got both games on Saturday, NFC games. You got Rams at Panthers. You got Packers at Bears. And then on Sunday afternoon, you got Niners at Eagles. And then the AFC, you got 2 Sunday games. The Bills at the Jags. That's so weird that game is the noon game. To me, that is the most intriguing. If I had the option, and I don't know how it works. I think the networks get to pick their own game first, so maybe that's why the Bills Jags is on CBS. But although I don't know exactly. So yeah, it must be that way, because the networks get to pick their game first. They only get one now with all the streaming stuff. So CBS picked Bills Jags, so it's on Sunday at noon. Meanwhile, Fox picked the Niners and the Eagles, and that's on Sunday at 3:30. But then Sunday night game, I think NBC gets the next pick, and they pick Chargers and the Patriots. The Monday Night Football is the Texans against the Steelers. So, but you're talking about 5 straight days of football. I don't know about you, but I can't wait. Earl says that Peyton is not going anywhere. I mean, why would he? It just, I get it. Chad Gage says he would definitely sign somewhere else if he was Sam Levitt. No doubt. And Ron's clarifying what he said earlier. Peyton not to Miami not happening, just the thought that he was eyeing Miami. Peyton has everything he needs to win a Super Bowl in Denver. I think that is such an interesting situation to me, because I want to know if Denver's. I think Denver is kind of like, remember Tennessee a couple of years ago when they got the 1 seed? Well, I'll say a couple of years ago. It's 4 or so years ago now. They got the 1 seed, and then they spit the bit in the playoffs, and Ryan Tannehill sucked, and then they decided they needed to go through the quarterback carousel. Now, I don't think Denver's going to go through the quarterback carousel, and I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, but if Denver plays Buffalo, if Buffalo beats Jacksonville, and I'm not saying they are, but if Buffalo beats Jacksonville and goes to Denver next week, I don't think Denver is going to beat Buffalo. I just don't. It's early, but I don't know. JC, who lives in Denver, says Sean Payton's not going anywhere. He loves the ownership. And Earl says Denver's offense isn't good enough. All right, let's get into some things here. And you know what? I'm going to put the Saints banner up, because we're going to talk Saints here this morning to get started. And who better to talk Saints with our weekly Friday guest, Zach Ewing, live from the mothership, somewhere, one of the motherships anyway. Are you in Baton Rouge, I guess?
I am in Baton Rouge. You don't think this is just like my smoking room at my house?
I don't know. You don't have your smoking jacket on, so I was wondering where the hell you were. I mean, it doesn't look like you're the room you usually do at home. So
yeah, I had to go find a quiet place here, because the one I usually use is busy. So
well, it is what it is. All right. We're going to start off here talking about the Saints, and if you're listening after the fact, our headline says riding high, but many questions. In other words, there is nothing but positive momentum going. I say nothing, but you got a few trolls, a few jackweeds out there trying to pee on people's parades. But for the most part, it is a going into a happy offseason with lots of hope, Zach Ewing. But still, even with that, we're going to play a clip at some point in the next 10 minutes or so from Mickey Loomis in his press conference yesterday. But still, many questions abound with this football team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't just take these last 5 games and think that everything is fixed. Now, it's remarkable how much better you can feel about the Saints than you could 2 months ago, just because of the quarterback, because that solves so many issues. Not only knowing you have a guy who can play there, but knowing that it's a guy on a rookie contract who can make team building that much easier around him. Having said that, first and foremost, we don't know that Tyler Shuck is an all-pro. Okay. We don't.
Right. Of course.
We don't even know that he's an average starter in the NFL. You cannot make that judgment based on 9 games. You can make the judgment that he's certainly worth giving more opportunity to. You can be hopeful that that's what he turns into, but he's still at the stage where when he starts week 1 next season, he's only played 9 games in the NFL.
Right.
By experience,
Right.
He's still basically a rookie. The league will still make adjustments to him. He will still have to make adjustments. We'll see if he can stay healthy long-term, which was an issue for him. I mean, all of these things are question marks with Tyler Shuck alone. And then, as you say, even if Shuck is the answer, he can cover up a lot of problems, but maybe not that many. I mean, there's a lot of holes on this team. They still need a bunch of help on the interior line. They still need a bunch of help at the skill positions. And the defense, as good as it was at the end of the year, was still getting beat up pretty good by the best offenses in the NFL. And there's a bunch of holes on that unit too.
Yeah. Charles says, where are you in Baton Rouge? He is at the Advocate headquarters, which is it right off Segan Lane?
Segan Lane and I-10. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it from the freeway.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get into a little bit about Mickey Loomis's press conference yesterday. We get into it a little bit earlier than I thought because, look, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched most of it and get into and the obviousness of Tyler Shuck. And again, if you missed it, you weren't here earlier when we talked about we have awarded our dumbass of the week, not to a commenter, which is what we normally do, but we have given the award to Adam Schefter, who reported on his Facebook page, breaking news. The Saints are heading into the offseason with planning on Tyler Shuck being their starting quarterback next year. In case no one knew, that's what they're going to do, Zach. I know it's a shock to everyone out there. So for that non-news post of the week, we're going to call him Dumbass of the Week.
I'll push back on that a little bit.
Okay, please. You always can.
Schefter did something more stupid than that to me on Saturday after the Bucs beat the Panthers. And he had the scenarios wrong. He posted something saying, if the Saints win, then the Panthers win the division. If the Falcons win, though, he had it backward. And I'm going, how does someone in that position screw that up? This one is, yes, it seems obvious to us in New Orleans. It seems obvious to anyone who's followed the team. But I do think that was probably the overarching headline from yesterday's Mickey Loomis press conference was that there was no we're going to bring somebody else in and have a competition. There was no Spencer Rattler. There was none of that. It was all Tyler Shuck. He is the guy going forward. We're going to build around him. And to me, that's, even though it became obvious over these last 2 or 3 weeks, it wasn't obvious even a month ago. And so I'm willing to say, okay, it's official. Put it out there. We basically did the same thing on NOLA.com. We were a little bit more nuanced than that, but yeah, they are pushing forward, building around Tyler Shuck and expecting Tyler Shuck to bring the Saints to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, well, and as well they should. I thought it was the way that he worded it. I mean, I don't think even the casual fan in Yakima, Washington thinks that anybody but Tyler Shuck is going to be the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints next year. I mean, that's not that I've been to Yakima. It's probably a fine place, but
Do they watch Saints games in Yakima, Washington? Because they might not have even known he was starting. I mean,
I mean, they probably didn't this year. Well, they might have watched the Seahawks game. Other than that, they probably didn't watch any because the Saints weren't on that primetime game or on national TV or anything. But anyway, I don't know. I think it's just silly that's what we're talking about. But Mickey did talk about it. And as I get to here, it's a 1:29 clip. I kind of want to watch it and go through it with you. I cut out some pieces that I thought were interesting. He starts off and he's talking about that the Saints, obviously, and you guys wrote about this, but the plans, obviously, not just to win the division, but to go further and beyond that. And then it kind of ends, and if people don't understand what he's talking about here at the end, the last 20, 30 seconds of this clip is him talking about basically the old men in the building and whether they'll be back or not. And if you read through the tea leaves, I want to see if you're reading the same tea leaves that I am. We'll show you Mickey's clip, 1:29. We'll talk to you on the other side.
We're going to approach it the same way. Hey, how do we improve enough to win the division? And we don't want to just win the division. I mean, we don't want to, be an 8-8 or 8-9 winning team in the division. We want to win the division, be dominant, and have a chance to make a run in the playoffs. So that's what our goal is going to be. I think it's pretty well documented that teams that have a quarterback on a rookie deal have been able to do some things and have some success. And so part of that is just building your roster and managing it over, the 2, 3, 4 year period that you're facing, and postseason process that we're going to go through, evaluating the roster, determining what we need to do in this offseason. Obviously, we feel good about the quarterback position to those guys, but there's a process that we go through at the end of the season. It's an evaluation, and then it's a determination of, hey, do they want to come back? Do we want them back? And then even that, there's still, okay, there's a lot of variables, What's the contract situation? What's the timeline? There's just too many variables for me to give you a definitive answer on any of that. But look, I'm excited to hear when those guys declare they want to be back here, and I would say on the surface we definitely want to have them back. But there's just so many other variables that exist that I can't really answer that question right now.
It's just an interesting way to put that. I mean, I don't know how many of these, the Cam Jordans, the Mario Davis, the Alvin Kamaras, the Taysom Hills of the world. And again, you guys wrote about this. I mean, who of this group that we just talked about do you think comes back? Do you think it's more than one?
I do, because I think at least one of Cam and DeMario is back, if not both. And I think ultimately Alvin Kamara comes back for another year as well. Taysom's the one I'm pretty confident is gone.
All right, well, that's interesting you say that. We had Red Bean on yesterday. We had Devin Hold the Mayo Snow. Yeah, and he was saying the same thing. He thinks that Alvin Kamara is back. I know maybe I'm in the minority thinking they won't bring Alvin Kamara. I just think that the money that they save on the salary cap, and again, I'm not going to be upset if they decide to bring Kamara back, especially if they go and get it like a Jeremiah Love in the draft and they pair him with Kamara, and Kamara can then be RB2. It's just the money that they're going to spend on Kamara, especially with the cap, when you can do a post-June 1 and save shy of $9 million, to me, is might be a better option. But maybe they do, maybe they don't.
So to that point, first of all, you only save money on Alvin if he's a post-June 1 cut. It's a little bit like the Derek Carr conversation last year. So that doesn't help you on this year's salary cap. You still would need to be in compliance at the start of the league year in March. So that doesn't help you. And so at that point, you're just like, are you just cutting him to save money for a summer signing, which we know are typically not as impactful, or for next year? And if you're doing that, are you basically just saying Alvin Kamara cannot help this team anymore? Maybe that's the case, but I think
that's just as big a part of it.
If you can get him motivated and you can get him, a little more rest to where he's just kind of a part-time back, I still think he's got enough juice left to where he's worth keeping around. Now that means either Kendry Miller or Devin Neal's probably going to the practice squad. You can't keep all of them on the active roster. And if that's the case, you're exposing them to being claimed. But I mean, if that's the case, so be it. And I'm talking in a scenario where you bring in another running back, which I think the Saints.
I don't think Kendry Miller's. I think they got to be done with, unless he just shows like he can't, like he's uncuttable in preseason, which I doubt. I mean, how many chances are you going to give this guy? I mean, he's on a rookie contract still, but
He may not even be ready for training camp, right? Given the injury.
Yeah, that's true too.
It'll be close. The big thing with him is he's just got to stay on the field. He's played, I think he's played in 16 games in his career. I mean, he hasn't even finished a full season yet. So I don't think you can draw a lot of conclusions. And he looked better this year. He was really young. He was a 20-year-old coming out of the draft. He was about as young as you can be coming out of the draft. He's like, there's still potential there, but he's got to stay on the field.
Yeah, but you can't get hurt three. Exactly. You can't get hurt 3 years in a row and go through this 3 years in a row. And it just can't be done. Hakeem, big dog, what's going on? Glad you're here. Ask Callie. Good morning. I've been listening to the show in work hell. We're sorry to hear that, but we're glad you're finding a way to listen. We're gonna have to come up with one of those tabs they come up with that CBS has when they're running the tournament. You could click the boss button, and when your boss passes that you're not watching, we're gonna have to come up with something like that. Brian Causey, my friend, says even if Shuck is the answer, the Saints need to get a high draft rookie quarterback. Look for a veteran quarterback as a backup as well to fill in if Shuck gets hurt and Menashuck and the rookie quarterback. I'm going to push back on that a little bit and say that I don't think you're going to see anything like that. I think my guess is they're going to go in the next season with Tyler Shuck as their quarterback, Spencer Rattler as their backup, and Hunter Deckers as the third string quarterback. That's my guess.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a veteran. They're not drafting a rookie quarterback. There's no sense in that. I wouldn't be surprised to see a veteran. And the reason why is if you, again, kind of reading between the lines of what Mickey and Kellen said yesterday, they did mention that Taysom Hill, Kellen Moore said Taysom Hill was a big part of that room. People forget it. He was the veteran in the quarterback room, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't have Taysom, I mean, you can roll your eyes, but
I'm rolling them.
But
that's one that I 100% don't bring back. I don't care if he comes back for minimum.
No. You're misunderstanding me.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're bringing Taysom back, but I'm saying if Taysom leaves, you need somebody to fill that role.
That's fair enough.
And I don't think you can roll your eyes at the role of a veteran in that room.
Yeah. No.
So whether that's, a Carson Wentz or a Marcus Mariota or one of these guys who's been around, who's kind of an Andy Dalton, who's been a career backup who you can bring in just to be a sounding board. And, maybe if Shuck were to get hurt, you wouldn't even go to him as your long-term starter. You would hand the reins back over to Rattler. I don't know, but I could see them definitely adding somebody like that in free agency.
No, I completely misunderstood what you meant there. So I apologize on that play, but yeah, I guess so. By the way, Gabe keeps pushing Case Keenum. I don't think Saints fans want anything to do with Case Keenum. I'm just going to say, we got nightmares from Case Keenum. You don't know the Minneapolis Miracle. Case Keenum can piss off. So I'm just saying most Saints fans are probably going to feel the way that I do about Case Keenum. Phil Mariani, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. We much appreciate it here on Dattitude. Phil is a regular here and is just about at every show. Phil, thank you so much for the donation. Hakeem says he thinks Alvin can be the RB2. Again, that's a lot of money to spend on an RB2. We are every down back like I'd love to have a Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall. Neil is an RB3. Estimate you keep as a last depth piece. Kendry is injury prone. That's a lot to be said, but again, I look, Taysom's got to be gone. That's the number one that's got to be gone. And to spend the kind of money on Alvin Kamara when I just can't be a lead back. I don't think at 31 years old. I guess anything's possible. I could be proven wrong. I just think that's crazy for that money.
Yeah. I mean, but you're paying him the money anyway. So like this is a sunk cost situation. Why you can't sit here if the discussion is because would you sign AK for $18 million for next year? No, but you're already like that. You can't get out of that. So
but the thing is, you talk about, to me, there's always, what does this team need more than anything? They need an interior lineman. They're going to probably sign one in free agency. I mean, I think we would all be shocked if that wasn't the number one free agency goal. Okay. I mean,
I agree.
I think they may address in some form in the draft, but it's not going to be high in the draft. I don't think so. That being said, I think they're going to go out and get an interior lineman in free agency. Okay. But as well as I do, the one thing that you often can get and spend money, you want to talk about being able to spend money on, if they do cut Alvin Kamara post June 1, and I hear what you're saying. It doesn't help you initially with the salary cap, but I do think that it would help some lineman out there that's going to get cut that probably shouldn't get cut. Somebody better than Dylan Radins, by the way, is going to get out there and get cut. And you want to be one of those teams that has the money in that part of the year, in my opinion, because I think it actually can come to help you. And I just don't know that Alvin Kamara it's almost like it's a distraction in a way. And again, I'm saying all this saying I love Alvin Kamara. He's on the Mount Rushmore probably of Saints. He's certainly either the best running back that's ever played for this team or the second best. It's not a debate. It's either him or it's Deuce. It's one of the two. And so I would miss him if he were gone. I might shed a tear if they said he was gone, but in a business sense, I just don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the part we don't know is
right.
What would be the impact on the locker room? I mean, clearly he's a popular player in New Orleans. I think he's a popular player in the locker room. I don't know that for sure. I think he is. And so would there be a negative impact, or would it be, maybe people have kind of seen that he's checked out a little bit as the team's record has gone south the last couple of years. And maybe
Exactly.
a lot of guys in that locker room, especially the younger guys, are like, hey, we don't need him around anymore. And Mickey Loomis has got to make that determination, and Kellen Moore has got to make that determination. And if that's the case, then sure, you cut him post June 1, you save the money, but you take the PR hit and let everyone shed their tears. My inclination is that's not the case. And as far as like having a few $1 million around to sign other teams' cast-offs, the Saints salary cap is in a much better situation this year than it has been. I think they can get to that point anyway. I don't think they need to cut AK to get to that point to have, 5, 6, 8 million lying around to sign a cast off somewhere. Quite frankly, no one's casting off usable offensive linemen at the beginning of training camp anyway. So I don't know how realistic. Now a receiver or a defensive back, that does happen, but a lineman, usually if they're usable, they're sticking around. So I think you need to address that earlier.
What you said goes to what Earl says. Alvin just didn't look like he wanted to play. Hate to pay a guy who isn't motivated to play. I mean, he may not even want to play. I mean, again, 31 years, he may not want to play. So we'll see how that goes.
He's not turning down 18 mil. I mean,
I wouldn't.
He's not going to walk away from that.
I mean, Carr gave back $30 million for free. So
yeah,
it happens.
That's rare. That's rare. And says, by the way, I don't think Derek Carr gets enough credit for that because he has helped.
100% he doesn't. Oh, Lance is about to come with the mad face. I'm just saying, whenever we mention those two words together, Derek and Carr, he just doesn't like it. Hakeem says he still believes in Rattler as a potential young backup, but he'd like a Kenny Pickett who knows Moore's offense. He'd be a good veteran pickup. My nephew wants to bring back. He wants to bring back crab legs. Why not? I mean, you think he would come back? The Giants. I don't think the Giants want to get rid of him.
I love Jameis.
There it is.
Is that the veteran presence you want in the quarterback room?
That's fun, man. Jameis is just fun.
Is he the steadying hand that you want in the quarterback room? I don't know, man.
He's just fun, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Fun.
It's just fun. See, ask Callie. We heart Jameis. You got to.
We do.
Mark Gapsky asked the question, and looking at the top guards in free agency, wants to know if David Edwards from Buffalo, would you pay big for him? He's going to be getting a contract. You want to talk about $18 million contracts? He's going to probably get somewhere in that vicinity per year. You'd probably have to sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal. He is 28 years old. He'll be 29 next year. Do you sign a guy that's 29 years old to a 3 or 4 year contract? Again, top guard in free agency.
I like the two guys the Browns have who are both, I believe, on expiring contracts. Tevin
Joel
Jenkins
Bitonio and Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, well, Joel Bitonio is a little older. It's possible he's a 1 year fix, but I'm looking at Teller and Jenkins, who are both pretty high level players. Especially Jenkins would probably be my pick.
Jenkins, they say his estimate is $13 million a year. Teller is about 10.6 million as market. I'm not saying it's not worth it. Look, we all know. I will say this. Last year there weren't hardly any guards that were going to be available. This is going to be a good free agent year for guards. And I'm looking at this. There are according to Sport Track, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, 8 guys who are going to be free agents who potentially would make $10 million or more. And I know you don't just judge everything by money, but that tells me that there's going to be they're going to go get at least one of those guys.
I think so. I also found it interesting that Mickey kind of called out Cesar Ruiz by name in that press conference yesterday, and talking about interior line, and said, well, Cesar Ruiz is a good player, but we need more from him. That's pretty stark.
For Mickey, that's basically saying that dude sucks. He might as well come out and said that dude sucks.
But I don't know if that means they're getting rid of him or if they're just saying, hey, it's got to be better. I'm not sure about that.
What is his do you know his contract off the top of your head? I can look for him. Hang on.
He signed an extension after his rookie contract was up, and I think it may have 2 years left.
Okay, so he is. They can void it in 2028. So he signed an extension. They can't theoretically get out of it until after 27. So he's going to make $9.5 million next year and $9.5 million in 2027. He has a cap hit of $14.1 million, $14.2 million both of those years. Yikes!
The only way I could see the Saints cutting bait on,
and they can't get out of it.
Found a trade partner.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just gonna pay the dead. I mean, you could just dead cap it and say screw it, but I mean.
Then you need 2 guards in free agency, plus you're paying his dead cap hit. I think you're better off bringing him back and just hoping that he improves.
What a terrible pick.
He had a bad year. Okay, he has not had a bad career. He had a bad year, so there is some bounce back potential there.
Breaking news here on the Dattitude podcast this morning for anyone that was hoping DJ Lagway would go to LSU. That is now out of the question. He is committed to Baylor, says On 3. Thank goodness. I didn't want anything to do with DJ Lagway and his 5 picks against the Tigers. Hakeem says he hopes Ruiz gets traded. You and about 50,000, probably 500,000 other Saints fans. He's not a starting guard in this league. But what we said, when you're paying him that kind of money, unless you're going to cut him, what are you going to do? Put him on the bench? I mean, you could put him on the bench, but like you said, are they going to spend money on 2 guards in free agency? No. Maybe you hope that Torricelli, Simpkins, or they get someone and someone else beats Ruiz out. But
one. I mean, it's possible.
You can, but I doubt it.
You could draft one and bench him if it's not working, but I don't think you just cut him, because there's potential there. He's shown that he can do it in the NFL. So there is bounce back potential there.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think you get. To me, I'd actually eat the cap, and I don't usually say that, but I'd eat the cap space and just dump him because I'm sick of watching him. He's that bad. But I know they're not going to do
depth on that line, though.
You're not going to do that.
You don't cut player to a.
Well, when I say cut, I don't know. I mean, are you going to? I don't know. You keep that kind of $15 million cap hit on the bench. I guess you don't have a choice.
You're going to take the cap hit either way.
Yeah, you're right.
In fact, I think he might be one of those guys, based on what you're saying, that the cap hit is bigger than the actual salary you're paying him. So then you really have to be motivated.
It is. It's like $5 million.
I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah. Chad wants to know, what do you think the same thing? And again, this is with the caveat that it's January and we're going to have our picks later on. We'll talk. Obviously, we're going to spend the next few months talking a lot about the draft. But if it's not Jeremiah Love, he wants the tight end from Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq. I wouldn't go.
I think he's more of a second round player. I mean, he's more of a second round player anyway. I don't think you'd take him at 8. Yeah, I will say
I wouldn't.
If they don't want Love, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, the wide receiver, is he still around? I saw a mock where Arvell Reese fell to the Saints. That would be
no defense. No defense.
I understand what you're saying, but if you get a guy who's supposed to be a top 3 pick and he falls to you at 8th, it's going to be hard to pass that up. He can change the way that defense operates. And then the other one, and I know it's another defensive player, but Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, if he's still around.
Defense.
Another one who could really be a game changer on defense. But yeah, I think Love is, if you're making odds for the Saints, I mean, Love's like under plus 200, right? Like he seems maybe not quite over 50-50, but he seems like the obvious fit. And not only that, but the 7 teams ahead of the Saints, like the Browns just drafted Quinshon Judkins. They don't need a running back. The Giants drafted Scattaboo. They don't need a running back. The Titans
Commanders need so much.
Strength of their team. Cardinals have James Conner coming back from injury. The Jets have Breece Hall. The Raiders just drafted Ashton Genty. The only team ahead of the Saints that I could see drafting a running back is the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. And I think they have so many other like big time needs. I don't think they would do that there. The team that I'm worried about, Zach, is I'm worried about a repeat of what year Mahomes come out? 17? That's when he came out?
Yeah.
So I'm worried about when the Chiefs jumped ahead of the Saints and went and got Mahomes. I'm worried that the Chiefs, who are right behind the Saints, could go make some trade with the Commanders or something and jump. The Commanders saying, okay, I don't care if we trade 9. There's like 5 guys. We'll go down and get an extra, higher round pick. And
whatever.
Yeah. So that's what I'm worried about, because I could absolutely see the Chiefs doing something like that. So that's the thing that worries me more than anything. But look, if he's there, I just don't see how the Saints don't make that move. And it makes complete sense. And I really think that Kellen Moore is obviously going to make his stamp. And if he can get a guy like that, I think 100% he goes out and does that. But we'll see how it goes as we get closer to the draft. I mean, Love may move up. And I know running backs don't usually go that high as of late. Genty did, but we'll see how that goes as we get closer to the draft. Mitch Bergeron says, go ahead real quick.
I was just going to say it bears mentioning that Kellen Moore has always kind of had that bell cow running back in his offenses until this year. But he obviously had Saquon in Philly, and then he had Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas, who had some huge years with Kellen Moore running the offense.
And that's why it makes the most sense. I mean, and I hate to be, me, I don't like being with the public, but I'm with the public here. To me, that's the guy that I'm going after if I'm the Saints. And again, it's January. I may change my mind by April. I doubt it. But to me, you get a guy like that in here, you go sign the top free agent guard, whoever you think that might be in free agency, and you've taken a giant leap towards being not only competitive next year in the NFC South, but maybe the co-favorite with probably Atlanta is going to be my opinion. And there we'll see, depending on who they get as coach. Mitch, what are the real issues with Ruiz? Not strong enough. He's always been pushed around when he sees him. Bad technique, or simply not enough talent to be a solid offensive lineman in the NFL. What is your take with Cesar Ruiz? I mean, I haven't even heard his mama talk good about him.
It's definitely not a lack of talent. I mean, he played well enough to get a second contract. You don't do that if you don't put something good on tape. So I don't know if it's getting lazy in technique. I don't know if there's some lingering injury that's affected him. I don't know if it's just he's mentally having trouble focusing on what he needs to do. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it's strange, but I'm sure the Saints have talked about it. He played a little bit better at the end of the year, I think, than he was in the early season. Now, again, it's hard. Like, they were playing such a softer schedule, and I think Shuck has a tendency to get rid of the ball a little faster than Rattler did, and that probably helps too. So maybe there was some improvement there, but it's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of strength or technique, because he's shown he can do it. So unless there's a lingering injury, or he's just like lost a step in quickness as he gets a little older, I'm not sure what the issue is there.
And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And again, look, I think his final grade, he was like right at if you put all the grades that PFF put together, and I think PFF had its worst season. And I'm not just talking about Saints, just overall grades. When you look at it, I didn't even hardly use them this year. They were so bad. But they had Ruiz right at the bottom of the third quarter of guards. I forget how many they rated, but he was like right on that cusp line between the last of the third quarter and the first of the fourth quarter guys. So Earl says, obviously a good running back and O-line are crucial for a young quarterback. And that's why I think they're going to go in that direction and make those their priorities.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that running back's the interesting one, because if you bring AK back and Love doesn't work out in the draft for whatever reason, do you need another guy, or could you run it back with Kamara and Neal and Miller? Do you need to go out and get somebody in free agency? I haven't, off the top of my head, can't think of the free agent.
I'll tell you, I actually just called it up. The free agent running backs, and there aren't going to be a lot of them that are available. Here are some of the names of potential free agent running backs next year. And number one is Breece Hall, but I cannot see, and I know he was like hoping he would get traded, but I cannot see the Jets letting Breece Hall walk out of that door. I think that unless they're just, maybe they draft Jeremiah Love and dump
unless they're going to plan on drafting Love, but at number 2, that would seem
exactly unless they trade.
Maybe they trade back, but
maybe. So, but anyway, so he's the number one guy, and after that, it really. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely some names on here that would help, but I'm not talking. To me, not franchise changing guys. J.K. Dobbins is a great running back, but he's Kendra Miller, except better. Kenneth Walker, Kenneth Walker's a stud. If they could get Kenneth Walker, that would solve a lot of problems. He's only 25 years old too. Rashad White, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne, Rico Dowdle, Isaiah Pacheco.
Javonte Williams had a good year, but here's the problem with a guy like Williams or Walker. There's an opportunity cost here too. You go sign one of them, now you don't have as much money to spend on guard and edge rusher, safety, whatever, wherever else you backup quarterback, wherever else you may want to go spend in free agency. You want to spend a lot of that on a running back? Maybe. I think Love is probably your best case scenario there, but if he doesn't work out, if the Chiefs jump up and grab him, or Washington drafts him, or the Jets draft him or something, then I just know that it's a need to go out and spend big money in free agency.
Tom says the past few seasons have shown that we can never have enough O linemen and running backs. Amen to that. And then Hakeem's trying to kiss up. He says he likes Ahmad Hardy from Missouri in the 3rd round.
I love Ahmad Hardy, but Ahmad Hardy's not in the draft. He's only a sophomore, so you got to wait a year on that.
He was just trying to get ahead of it all. All right. I'm probably going to come back here later on before we go off the air. We may talk a little bit more of Saints. And Hakeem also says, by the way, he's stashed Polk and Palmer still need another receiver. I definitely think that the Saints probably not in the first round unless it's just a playmaker they can't pass up, like Zach was talking about. But I think that they will get a wide receiver within the first 3 rounds of the draft. Charles, they don't need to trade for Rico Dowdle. He's going to be a free agent. But that's the Rico Dowdle's fine, but he's not that's not who I want as an RB1. Not when you're talking about what the Saints need, in my opinion. All right, I want to talk a little bit. I'm going to jump ahead and let's start with the NFL playoffs this weekend. We're going to probably go through them fairly quick because I didn't realize we're already at 108. But I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Gabe yesterday. What game do you think is the most intriguing in the AFC playoffs? And what game do you think that the line is the furthest away from reality?
I think my answer might be the same thing, and it's Bills-Jags.
Okay. And
I think
so I'm going to ask you why you think the Jaguars are underrated, and why is it the most intriguing game?
Well, look, you got Josh Allen, who has been the modern day Jim Kelly, although he hasn't even actually made the Super Bowl, but he just keeps having these terrific regular seasons and then beating his head against the wall in the playoffs because of this guy named Patrick in Kansas City, who's not in the playoffs this year. So now the lane should be open for him, right?
Right.
But I don't like the team around him. I don't like the fact that he's nursing this foot injury. The Jaguars are playing really, really well. I'm with Earl's picks. I think the Jags win this game. I think they're a sneaky pick to go to the Super Bowl. They're playing really well. Liam Cohen has unlocked something in Trevor Lawrence, who always had the arm talent, always had the athleticism, and now all of a sudden is like getting it mentally or having the plays drawn up for him in a way that has made it easier. So that's my answer, I think, on both. I think you have real shootout potential there. Like, can Josh Allen just play hero ball and drag the Bills on his back to a road win there?
That's the way. That's the only way they win, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think with the injury and, some of the issues that they've had on defense, the Jags maybe keep scoring. And I kind of like Jacksonville there.
And in that game, Here's the reason why, and this is the reason why I shied away from it in my best bets. I agree with you, and I actually think that the Jaguars are going to win as well. I think the Jaguars I think the Jaguars are a sneaky Super Bowl pick, and I'm going to put money on them before this weekend as a value play. That being said, I wonder if Buffalo, and to me, experience does matter this time of the year. Is Jacksonville ready for that yet? Is Liam Cohen ready in his first season? Sean Payton made it to the NFC Championship game in his first season with probably, I mean, he had Drew Brees, but we didn't know what Drew Brees was going to be. I just don't know. So they are definitely an underrated team, as Gabe is saying. And but the thing is, does experience, how much does that play a factor? And obviously, Buffalo's got that. And how long is Josh Allen's window going to stay open? The way that he plays the game now, he cannot continue to run and take hits like he takes hits now. He's going to say, I have to start changing his game soon, I think.
Yeah, and we've seen him in the past. He definitely runs more in the playoffs. Just like way more is over rushing yards total. If you look at that, like they know they spike that thing up by double. But can he do that on a hurt foot? Is it? He didn't play much last week. Was that enough rest for him to where he's just healed? I don't know. I thought he looked pretty banged up against Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. So that's my big question. That's probably the one thing keeping me from making that like my best bet of the week or anything, is that Josh Allen could just play hero ball.
No, I mean, he absolutely could. So, I mean, that's what I think is interesting about the whole thing. By the way, I'm just going to say this. Charles, I've been doing this for a long time, and you're telling me to call the number because I think Jacksonville's a good value play at plus 1,300 for a 2 seed is absolutely 100% a value play. I'm not saying, I did not say Jacksonville's going to win the Super Bowl, but they're 100% a value play. They're
the 3 seed, right?
Isn't it 2 seed? They're the 3 seed. You're right. New England's the 2 seed.
But your point, I mean, to your point, like they're going to be at home. I don't think it's impossible the Chargers could go to New England and win. And so if that happens, all of a sudden the Jaguars are at home in the next round as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
and
that would
the Monday
be
night
interesting
game,
too.
I'm sure y'all have talked about this on the show. I haven't been able to listen this week, but like Pittsburgh's never loses at Monday night at home, and they get a home playoff game on Monday night. Do you know it's how long it's been since they've lost on Monday night at home?
The 90s, right?
1991.
That's insane.
35 years since they've lost a Monday night football game at home.
That's insane. And you know how long it's been since the Texans won a road playoff game?
Oh, I mean, I guess they always win in the first round and then always lose in the second round. But have all those first round games been at home? I guess they have.
They've never won a road playoff game. Earl's Picks, thank you so much for the super sticker. We very much appreciate it. $5 donation. Thank you so much, Earl. We appreciate it. Pittsburgh wins, he believes. Okay, I don't want to give too much away. Hold on. JC saying Bills beat Jags. He trusts Allen. And he says Pittsburgh wins Monday, he believes. Yes, the Steelers are at home, Earl. Yes, the Steelers are at home. They won the division. They're at home. Houston is a wild card. I'm going to ask you for your best bet here. You kind of alluded to it. What do you like the most out of these three?
I like the Jags. I think I also like the over in that game. It feels like a shootout.
51.5, over 51.5.
Yeah, the Bills defense is struggling. The Jags offense has been scoring a ton of points. Now, Jacksonville's defense has been playing pretty well, but they haven't faced that caliber of offense. Like the only playoff team they played during this run through December and January was Denver. And of course, we know Denver is not a great offense. And so can they stop a Josh Allen? Like I may like the over even better than I like Jacksonville.
Yeah, be an interesting pick. I can tell you who Denver's rooting for in this game. They are absolutely 100% rooting for Jacksonville. They do not want to play the Buffalo Bills at home in their first playoff game, because if Buffalo wins, unless the Chargers win, which I know you think it's, but I don't think it's happening. I didn't make it a best bet, but I think the Chargers are not going to win in New England. So it would, if Jacksonville wins, it'll probably be New England and Jacksonville next week in New England. And then the winner of the Texans Steelers game goes to Denver. And Denver, not only do I think they can win that game, I think they would win against either one of those teams. But
I mean, the Texans and Broncos went right down to the wire in Houston in the regular season.
Yeah. Brian says Buffalo is hungry. And so, I mean, here's one thing that always gets me when fans are making picks. Okay. So-and-so is hungry. That doesn't, when you're talking about prognosticating and you're making picks, Brian, and you may feel differently, Zach, but I can tell you when I'm making my pick for a game, so-and-so is hungry. Rarely, if ever, comes into play. Everybody's hungry. Okay. Everybody wants to win. Okay. And finally, they don't have to deal with KC in that way. And I think that's kind of the most ironic part of it all. They don't have to deal with KC. And it would be even more ironic if they lose to Jacksonville. Finally, the big bad wolf is gone, and then they still can't win. I got Jacksonville here. So, anyway,
I do too. Allen does scare me.
Yeah,
the AFC's fun because it's just so flat, man. Anybody could win this thing. Anybody could. You have to favor
this is
Denver
going to be wild, and I agree. There isn't a single team on this list besides the Steelers or Chargers that would absolutely shock me if they were playing in the Super Bowl. Not a single
Even
team.
The Chargers wouldn't shock me because I think Herbert is the second best quarterback in the AFC playoffs. So it wouldn't shock me. Now they've got line issues, all that sort of stuff, but he could get it done. But yeah, the Steelers would surprise me. Nobody else would surprise me. And I agree with you, by the way, the whole, the hungry or our team just didn't, they just wanted to win more than we did. Come on.
I hate that. So-and-so wanted it more than someone else. Nobody wants it more than anyone else. They all want to win it. They're all hungry. I promise you, they're all hungry. All right. And I'm not making fun of you, Brian, but I bring that up because I hear that all the time. And that's why more times than not, when I'm making a best bet, it's against the public because the public uses that way too often. That doesn't matter at all, in my opinion. Josh Allen matters. That definitely matters. And like Zach said, he could take this team on his back. And if Buffalo wins, he's going to have a fantastic game, which he could. He certainly could. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. All right, moving over to the NFC and getting your thoughts here. Same question. What game do you think is the most intriguing? What game do you think the odds makers just didn't get it right? Or at least got it right. Let's put it that way. Maybe you think they got them right or not.
This is a lot harder to me. I bet Philadelphia when it was 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably my favorite bet on here. I don't feel as strongly about this one. I think the 49ers defense is in shambles. And Tatum Bethune is also out now. And so it's just getting worse. I think the Eagles match up really well with San Francisco. They'll just run the ball. I worry about Philadelphia if it gets into a situation where, they're going to have to throw, but I don't know that this is it. And Philly's defense is good enough to kind of hold that Niners offense at bay. So I like Philadelphia. The other two I think are really well lined. I wouldn't touch Green Bay, Chicago. I have no idea. I'm curious to know your thoughts. I have no idea what to do with that. And the Rams should win. I think if I had to bet, I'd bet Panthers with the 10.5. Short week, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast. They beat them there before. I just don't know that I have the cojones to bet the Panthers in the playoffs. But if I had to pick, I would take the Panthers with the points.
I wouldn't just take. I'm not going to make it a best bet because I don't like you. I don't have the cojones to do it. I'm saying this right here. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a game to the very end, and I think the Panthers might win the game. I don't think the Rams are nearly as good as I think they're banged up too. I don't like the way they've been playing lately, and I'm telling you right now, I just think that the Panthers could win this game. They've beaten teams that they are absolutely not supposed to beat, and lost to teams that they absolutely shouldn't lose to. So anyway, we'll see. My opinion on the other one.
And you never know. And like I said, short week, long trip, all that stuff. The one
I'm
thing
certainly not giving 10.5. That's insane.
The Rams defense has been bad down the stretch ever since Quentin Lake, their safety, went out.
Yeah, that's true.
He's back.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm not saying that that's all of a sudden everything's fixed, but he's going to be back. Devontae Adams is going to be back. I just think the Rams, they're going to score.
I can just say this. I'm hardly ever, and maybe never. And I can go back and look, and I meant to actually go back and look, and then I did not do this. I was supposed to do this yesterday, and I forgot. And you may know the answer to this. How many teams have been double-digit dogs at home in the NFL playoffs? I mean, I can't imagine it's more than double digits in the history of the NFL that it's ever happened. I mean, I'm never given double digits at home in an NFL playoff game. I'm just not. And I get.
So you're saying specifically home teams?
Yeah, I mean, how many times is a home team? I mean, I get it. The Panthers, the NFC South sucks. The Panthers sucks. I mean,
what was the line for the
games where they haven't sucked? You know what? I don't know the answer to that. Gabe, can you go find that? He's going to go find that for me before we go off here. So anyway, there was one comment. Apathy, I call BS on this. He says he can't watch a 16-13 game between the Texans and Steelers. It's going to be an awful game. It may be an awful game, but it's NFL playoffs and it's Monday Night Football. I don't buy for 1 second you ain't watching. Okay.
Yeah. Let me tell you something about that. Because I get it sometimes, especially in the regular season. But when it's May 11th and you're like, God, it's still 3.5 months to the season, you're going to wish you had a game like this to watch.
Exactly. You would watch anything. You know?
I mean, if somebody told you on May 11th that the Texans and Steelers were going to play with their A teams, and something's on the line and everything on Monday night, man, that would be appointment viewing on May 11th. So I'm not going to 100% on January 11th or 12th.
You're going to watch it. And by the way, Tom asked, didn't the Panthers already beat the Rams this year? They did indeed, 31-28 on the final day of November, which just so happened to be that was the last time that the Saints lost before they went on that winning streak. So, on that same day. Lots of weird stuff. I mean, I don't say why not. But that's why a lot of people don't like it. Saints were 10.5-point favorites, Gabe said, in the Beastquake game. So, same kind of thing. Also, Gabe says, if you don't enjoy watching the Texans defense, you hate football. I can't disagree with that. I actually like watching the Texans play. Jerry says it's going to be very interesting this weekend. All right. What is your best bet of the whole weekend? Give me your best bet of the entire weekend before we spend 2 minutes talking about the college football playoffs.
I'll stick with Bills Jags over.
All right. Bills
I do
Jags
like the Eagles
over,
and I like the Jags as sides, but I'll stick with that over.
All right. I don't want to give too much away because obviously 2 of the playoff games are in my best bet, so I don't want to give too much away. But I will say that a game that I will play, and I'm saying it here again, I don't think I have the cojones to take the money line, but I will take Panthers plus 10.5. But I've been wrong a lot lately, so that's good news for people who like the Rams.
If I had to pick, I would take Carolina with the points there.
All right, your thoughts about the college football semifinals, which starts tonight, the Fiesta Bowl, Miami against Ole Miss. It's not Tempe, Arizona. It's whatever Arizona. I don't even know. It's not Glendale, is it? Whatever. Miami is playing. Is it Glendale? I don't know. The Hurricanes are 3-point favorites over the Ole Miss Rebels, total 52.5. You like anything in this game? And what do you see for tonight and tomorrow night?
I am torn on Miami Ole Miss. I kind of want Ole Miss to win because it'd just be fun. Be a fun story. It'd be a fun story for LSU. I don't know that it matters because I think the Peach Bowl winner is going to win the national championship. And I think that's going to be Indiana. At this point, I'm just willing to give in and say, Kurt Signetti, you are a golden god and you have all the answers and no one is able to stop you. And they're just going to, I really want to pick Oregon. I'd pick Oregon against either of the other teams because they looked damn good last week. And Dan Lanning is a good coach and all of that stuff.
It's up. He goes for it.
But man, Indiana went to Eugene and won by 10 points. Why do we think this is going to be any different?
I mean, I can't be a hypocrite. I can't tell you that, say it one way for one and then the other way another. I think you got to like Indiana in that game. I know this is hard to believe for a degenerate, but I really might not bet on that game because I don't know what to think. See, like I actually have a strong opinion on the Miami Ole Miss game, and it's in my pick, so I can't give it away. So I'm gonna save my spoiler alert. I have a strong opinion on the Fiesta Bowl tonight. I do not have a strong opinion for tomorrow, and I'm with you. And Indiana winning before kind of messes with me a little bit because I really think Oregon. I know this is going to be in the minority when I say that. I think Oregon's a better team overall, but I don't know.
Based on what?
I just think the whole compilation of the season, and I know again Indiana went undefeated. I get they're in the Big Ten. They're 14-0, whatever 14-0, 15-0, whatever the hell they are. I guess because 14-0 because they could go 16-0.
Indiana has beat Ohio State and beat Alabama like a redheaded stepchild. What has Oregon done? I mean, they beat Texas Tech bad.
And again, maybe it's stubbornness. When you watch something like a whole year or something and you still don't believe it, that's kind of how I am with this team. That's probably why I'm not going to bet on it because I don't want to it's like the Bears. I keep saying the Bears aren't that good. And I like today on January the 8th, I'm sitting here telling you, I still don't think the Bears are that good. Okay. I mean, their defense is not good. They get a lot of takeaways, but they keep proving me wrong and they keep winning games. So I don't want to say I don't think Indiana is that good. I think Oregon is better. I can't give you any real reason. That's what my gut tells me.
Well, you're definitely stubborn.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. We know that.
But I mean, with the Bears,
it's going to be fun though. Both of these games are going to be fun, I think.
Yeah, and I wish I had a stronger opinion. I just don't. I think the favorites probably just win. Which sounds crazy after last week, but the more I think about it, Ole Miss is interesting. They have the better quarterback in the game. Is that enough? But that Miami defense, man, they made Ohio State look pretty damn average last week.
I think Miami's defense is better than Indiana's defense, which is really good.
Yeah, but Indiana's offense is much better than Miami's.
Yeah, that's true. Charles says Indiana wins it all. They might. I just think it's too easy. Too easy doesn't win it that often. I don't know.
I mean, I will say this though, with the Bears and the Panthers and these teams we keep saying till we're blue in the face that they're not that good. They're not that good. They're going to fall on their face. That's different than Indiana because Indiana has proven it.
And when I say not that good, I don't want people to mistake what I'm saying. It's like when I say somebody's overrated, but they're still fantastic. Okay. It's like I say this all the time. LeBron is overrated. That doesn't mean I don't think he's one of the top 10 players of all time.
Derek Jeter's an all-time great player, but let's stop with the greatest of all time stuff.
No, he's definitely not the greatest of all time. Absolutely not. No, I mean that's Barry Bonds. That's a whole different story. Anyway, regardless, that could be a debate for another day if we want to. But so I think Indiana is a really, really, really good football team. They absolutely belong where they are. They beat the stuffing out of Alabama. They proved me wrong. I don't know why I'm not buying it yet. I'm just not. I don't know. Just not. So we'll see. Is that your pick to win the national championship, by the way, right now? You think Indiana's going to win it all?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Indiana. And if I was going to place any sort of bet, it would be Indiana. What is it, like plus 130 to win the national championship? Yeah. That's what I would do.
Well, I hope they lose this because I'm going to tell you why. And I told you this last week. I've got a ticket on both Miami and Ole Miss that were both a combined bets of $7. Okay, combined. The two bets together are $7, and they both tickets pay at a minimum of $120. So I'm going to have to hedge some sort of way, and it's going to be easier to hedge with Oregon than it is going to be to hedge with Indiana. And I don't want to hedge ahead of time. So I don't know. We'll see. Bonds is on roids. I don't give a rat's ass, Charles. He's the greatest player I've ever seen, period. Amen. Move on. Now. Done. That's my rant.
I'm with you on that. I don't
shit what he took. Still got to hit the ball.
Yeah, we'll see on these games. Indiana they seem like a freight train, man.
All right, final thoughts before we move on. You got anything? Did you do anything? Did you pop fireworks? You didn't shoot your eye out, did you?
For New Year's?
Yeah.
Well, we had this talk. I'm anti-fireworks.
I forgot. That's right.
I'm not. I shouldn't say that. I'm not anti-fireworks.
I ticked off some people, by the way.
I'm anti fireworks before 10 p.m. and after 2 a.m. Like, can we just keep it to a few hours, guys? That's mine.
Like 6-7 hours. No, something along those lines. All right. What are you just? Are you home all weekend? What are you? You haven't. When's the last time you just had some time? You get some time off?
I have one of my sons got a soccer game Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
So I'll step out for that, but that's only for a couple of hours, and that'll be that. It's gonna be nice, man.
Well, enjoy your weekend. I'm sure we'll be texting about something that Dan Lanning does that's stupid, or on fourth down, or somebody else that should have punted, or whatever it is. I can't wait to figure out what that is.
All right, man. We'll
see you later.
It's not going to be boring.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. All right. Zach Ewing, everybody. Having fun. We are at the 1:30 mark. All right, let's get to I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to bring him in because, we were absolutely, as UBN is like, I don't know. There you go. You ever wanted to see UBN's backside? There it is. That's what UBN's backside looks like. Everybody's happy. How about these standings, y'all? The Pick'em crew, we stunk it up last week.
I didn't know I was in first again.
You're back in first. That's what a minus 37 will do. Even with a minus 11.5, you moved up.
Hey, you know what? Considering the fact that I was at minus 87 at one point this season, I'll take that.
Yeah. I think I was I got to minus 50 early in the season. Can't hear you, UBN. Can't hear you. Oh, Lord. That's usually bad news when he's muted. No. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
All right, there we go.
In fact, let me turn you up a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to edit your mic setting.
While you do that, UBN, do you agree on Barry Bonds?
As the greatest ever?
Yeah.
No, Ken Griffey Jr. is always that for me.
No, but he's biased though. He's like a Ken Griffey Jr. lover.
If you've seen his swing, how can you not be?
Tom
I don't think Barry Bonds has the record if Griffey never gets hurt.
Tom donates $5 because he loves the turd blossom and UBN's backside. It made him smile. So anyway. All right. We're gonna get on with the pick'em again. We stunk. So we usually, not always, y'all. Now look, as bad as we stunk last week, I want you to look at these numbers. This is on the bottom left is our numbers for the entire season. Okay. I don't want to add them up real quick because I'm not good at it, but I can tell you that overall we are still 10 games over 500 combined against the spread for the entire season, and we stunk up the joint last week, and I've been stinking up the joint for like 4 weeks, and I got the hot streak because I went 1-2, and I'm only minus 0.5 point differential. Usually, we're going to follow that up. We almost always follow it up with something good, and I can't wait to see what our best bets. I'm going to give you a heads up. I told you all in the text earlier.
81-71.
81-71. Okay, there you go. 10 games above 500 for the season against the spread. We have one kiss of death. It's the first kiss of death in the history of Pick'em where all three of us have the same pick. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. All three of us have the same pick. And two of us have the same pick on another pick. All right.
Okay. Humor me for a second.
With that, I'll put Gabe's picks up. Is the same
pick the one I texted you about this morning, my changed pick?
Do you want me to give the spoiler alert away?
No. Okay. It's got to be. It's been a pick that we've been talking about for weeks. Okay. I'll start.
Go ahead.
My first pick tonight, I've got Miami and Ole Miss under 52.5.
Hold on, before you do that, I got a surprise for you. Because I need to ask you the most important question of the day. Okay, are you ready? We told you earlier we'll let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help you figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. The best question of the day is, how do they do it? I can tell you. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanian Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline will begin an extensive auction process from private equity funds from around the whole wide world. Say that 90 times in a row. And maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities, they're the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area. And there are no companies out there. They're the only people who can get me to say 0.0 today with their dedication and success. They're fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ryan about what's really important. And it ain't UBN's picks. It's the rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. There you go. Now.
It's not who the greatest MLB player is all time, not steroids, the rest of your life.
I mean, Griffey probably took steroids too. We just don't know about it.
No way.
You don't think?
No.
Yeah. All right. We are just goofing around. All right. We're having some fun. All right. So Gabe's going to start off here. He's got the under in tonight's game. The Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, whatever. Coach Gucci should go cover the Hurricanes against the Ole Miss Fighting Rebs. And Trinidad.
How the hell do you watch?
Don't call me Hubbard Chambliss.
How the hell do you watch Miami's defense and set a line at 52.5?
I have no idea.
I know it's college. And college lines are usually higher. But the way that Miami plays, they're going to run the ball a lot. Carson Beck is a game manager, so they're going to play time of possession. They're going to let their defense get on the field. And, I mean, Ole Miss wants to run the ball too. I know Trinidad Chambliss has been excellent, but both these teams are looking to run the ball. You've got an excellent defense on one side. I just don't see how these teams go over 52.5. I really don't.
Trinidad, don't call me Hubbard Chambliss. Earl says that UBN is the white Kanye with his great fashions.
I don't think you want to compare people to Kanye in the Lord's Year 2026.
That's the worst I've ever been called.
Don't compare people to Kanye nowadays.
God, what an insult.
Oh, boy. All right. You also got the Rams. You're doing exactly what I said don't do, but you love it. Rams minus 10.5 over the Panthers.
I talked all week about trends and reasons you should take Carolina, and that's exactly why I didn't.
Okay.
If you remember last year,
really when I read this, when I did this morning and I put this in, I'm like, had he been talking about the Panthers all week long?
Yep. Okay. Yep. And I just couldn't do it. Eventually, as you and Zach alluded to, I don't have the cojones to do it. Instead, I'm going to play.
You didn't make it a best bet.
This line does not make any sense. It's fishy. The Rams have blown out multiple teams in the first round under Sean McVay, including last year when they blew out Minnesota. As Zach alluded to, they get healthy on both sides of the ball. Devontae Adams is rested.
Back.
I think the Rams run away with this game against a Carolina team that has been streaky, and they're not playing good football right now. They lucked into a playoff spot. It goes without saying. I think the Rams are going to announce themselves as Super Bowl favorites.
The reason why I did not put this in my best bets and have Panthers plus 10.5 is because I actually don't like that the Panthers already beat them.
Yeah.
If they hadn't beat them, if they would have got blown out by them early on November 30th, I might feel differently. So, but I don't, and I don't have this in my best bets. I can't touch this game. I might literally just put the equivalent of when UBN puts $50 on a game. That tells you that he doesn't feel confident about it at all. He's just betting it to have fun, which hardly ever happens. He hardly ever puts $50 on anything. I mean, that's $50 is like buying a pack of gum for UBN.
I usually hate the whole cross-country travel thing, short week, but it's hard to beat a team twice. I know that's one of the most overused cliches, along with Jim's favorite phrase from earlier. But I really do like the Rams here. I think they'll win big.
Okay. Could happen. And then your last pick, you got the Packers basically even, but you're giving them 1.5. Were they not? What is the money line? I didn't even look. What is the money line?
I don't know.
In fact, you got Green Bay minus 1.5 over the Bears. Just tell me what you're thinking there as I look it up. It's minus 120. I tell you what, I'm going to give you a bonus here. I should have looked this up. Our rules are that if it's minus, you can take any bet you want as long as it's minus 120 or less. So I'm going to give you it's minus 120. But I'm going to give you a bonus. This is actually going to be a money line play. Green Bay money line over the Bears. Bonus.
Let's just say you're not making You're not giving me a bonus to be generous to me.
I actually would have. But you're right. You're right in this case, but I actually would have if I would have looked it up and saw it, noticed it. I would have.
I won't speak too much about this game because you'll find out why in a minute. This is a play that we've been alluding to for weeks. Whoever the Bears played in the first round. Do you guys know the last time the Packers lost to the Bears in the playoffs?
George House was coach?
1963.
Is that
Pearl
true?
Harbor had just been bombed.
Wow. Really? Wow.
So
that's a long time ago.
You think?
Didn't that happen in like didn't that happen in like 1824? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, y'all. I know history. I mean, that's actually what I know history. It happened
in 1973.
When is the last time the Bears won a playoff game? Do y'all know the answer to that? I had to look this up, by the way.
Rex Grossman?
Sexy Rexy.
Oh, it was?
I think I'm pretty sure he was on the same. Hang on, I'm gonna look this up. Maybe it wasn't Sexy Rexy. Maybe he was going by then.
Was it
no,
Cutler?
I'll take it back. It was Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutlets.
Yeah.
Beat the Seattle Seahawks on January the 16th, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Before that,
they went to the
Before that, they went to the Super Bowl in the 2006 after the season. And before that, 1994, they have only won 3 playoff games in the last 31 years.
That's more than the Cowboys.
I'm not talking about road. I'm not talking about home. I'm talking about 3 total playoff games.
Wait, no.
In 31 years. Yeah. I'm telling you, I got it up right here.
Wouldn't they have needed to win 3 to get to the Super Bowl?
No, they only needed to win 2. They beat Seattle. They beat the Saints in the conference championship, and then they lost to the Colts.
Okay. Anyway, all of those reasons are why
they've only been in the playoffs a handful of times.
Yeah, I know. I'm just not taking Chicago here. Ben Johnson still has the Dan Campbell stink on him. Dan Campbell is not great in the first round of the playoffs. Jordan Love, it's not Toyotathon anymore, but I still think he'll light this Bears defense up. They might get lucky with the turnovers, you said, but that luck may run out in the playoffs. Green Bay tends to play careful football in the playoffs. I like Green Bay in this game. They outplayed Chicago twice this season. I don't think Chicago will get away with it again.
Well, I will tell you this. Of all the picks and everything that we do on this show, there's one thing that's super special, and it's when people ask for something, by God, we give it to them. And when they ask, we deliver.
Uncle Bidnick, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
How about that?
They should know you're going to play it.
I mean,
why would Jim play it for me? That's my song.
They asked for it, we give it to them. Yeah. Earl says, yes, they went with Trubisky, but lost. They've lost a lot. There you go. You didn't do so well. Like, I was wondering. Once again, I did not get an update on the standings this past week. I'm just saying.
I do have a defense for that.
Okay, what?
I only send the updates if all our games end at 3. If it's a late game, I'm not sending an update. I know I'm sleeping. And the game was Sunday night.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I told everybody that there's one pick that's the kiss of death that we all have made the same pick. And there's one pick that 2 of y'all picked. So we still can't figure it out because you and Gabe have the same pick under 52.5 Miami against Ole Miss.
It's everything that he said. Like, I think Miami wants to run the ball, like long drives, keep Ole Miss off the field. Ole Miss has scored 30 in 8 straight games, but they ain't seen a defense like Miami's. And I just think I think this game's they're gonna slog this game down. Miami's gonna run the ball. They're gonna keep Ole Miss off the field. And Ole Miss the hurry up offense is only good if you're getting first downs. If they go 3 and out with this hurry up and 1 minute, 2 minute drives, like that's gonna kill their defense. And Miami's gonna better run 4, 5, 8 yards in the second half, stuff like that. I just think they're gonna run the ball. I don't see this getting to 48. Like, I don't understand why this is so high.
Yeah, that is a weird number. I actually on my template I have 42.5, and almost didn't change it. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I had to double check the numbers. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
One little note, UBN just said Ole Miss has scored 30 or more in 8 straight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've also gone 7-7 to the over/under. And Miami is 9-5 to the under. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Two
okay.
good under teams.
Well, look, I can't debate it. That's for sure. Oregon plus 3.5 against Indiana. I want your reasoning for this one. I find this an interesting pick.
Well, I like what Zach said. I agree with him. I think whoever wins this game is going to win the national championship. I think this is the national championship game. And I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, 3-point game either way. I don't think anybody's blowing anybody out here. I love getting the hook. I still think Indiana wins, but I think it's by a field goal. I don't think either one of these teams is going to blow the other one out. Like, I believe in Cincinnati. I think he's doing a great job at Indiana. And everybody says Indiana is too easy to win. It's just nobody can see Indiana winning the football. Like, they had the losingest, or whatever you say it, like team in football history. Like, history.
You're playing for the plus 0.5.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, interesting.
If I were to play this game, this is how I would play it as well.
I'm a degenerate. I'm probably going to put $10 on it.
That's my problem with
it this way. I'm not going to big.
My record's the best record we have, but my point differential isn't, because I don't play for point differential.
I don't think any of us are playing for point differential.
Yeah, just weird that I'm up and down with the roller coaster.
Yeah. I mean, we just do that for fun, basically. I don't think any of us are making picks saying this could be a big. I would rather take this game because it has a more. I mean, we say that sometimes, but I don't think I've never really made a pick that way. When you pick an under, you really can't be picking for point differential, because I mean, in the grand scheme of things, more times than not, even if you hit the under, it's going to be like by a touchdown or less. So it's not like you're going to get a lot there. Whereas an over,
he missing big by overs.
Yeah, I mean, over. Yeah. If you hit it right, you can get the over. And then talk about your Packers Bears. You are also on the Packers, and same thing. You'll get the money.
It's the same thing that Gabe said. I mean, it's Green Bay's outplayed Chicago 2 straight games. Chicago got lucky, like they've been getting lucky all year. Got an onside kick, a great throw by Caleb, and so many things had to go right for them to beat them that I don't think all them things would go right again. And I trust Green Bay a lot more in the playoffs than I do trust Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. I think the Bears are a year or two off from being really good.
I don't think the Bears are going to be really good at all.
I think the Bears, Carolina and Pittsburgh are basically the automatic bids to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the college. I could see all 3 of them get blown out.
Well, the Bears are the 2 seed, right?
Jim?
The Bears are 2 seed?
Yeah.
Well, so I can tell you right now that Philly's completely okay if the Bears win this game.
I think that's why Philly rested everybody.
Philly goes to Chicago. They're completely okay with that.
Well, I'm saying I think that's why Philly rested everybody, because I think they think the Bears are going to lose and they're going to host 2 playoff games.
Yeah. Good. Go ahead, Gabe.
Can I ask you a question, Jim? So
sure.
Take away the logos. Why do you feel so differently about Jacksonville and Chicago?
Why do I feel so differently about Jacksonville and Chicago?
They're essentially the same team.
I don't think they're the same team at all.
They are.
First of all, I think
head coach,
I've been saying I'm going to say this. I've been saying I don't know a lot.
Offense.
I don't know a whole lot about Liam Cohen. Okay, so I'm not. My judgment on him is not there, and I'm actually been very impressed. But I've been saying this for 3 years now, and people. Either you haven't listened or I just haven't said it enough, and maybe I haven't said it enough. I think Ben Johnson's highly overrated. I don't understand the absolute I mean, Ben Johnson, what he did with the Lions the last couple of years, I've said this 1,000 times. The Lions probably have the most talent in the NFL right now overall. I mean, especially offensively. Those 2 running backs together, that's the best running back tandem in the NFL. Okay. And their wide receivers are sort of unsung in a way. So what he's done in Chicago, I'm not taking away with what he's done in Chicago has been a good thing, but I don't think Chicago's and Jacksonville's defense isn't that good. But yeah, the Bears get takeaways. and we might as well move on because I'll just talk about this right now because I obviously have the same pick. It's not a surprise that I have the same pick. This is the
I
one
wasn't.
that we all.
To be clear, I wasn't trying to be.
So let me get into this. No, I know you're
curious.
not. This is why. So I'm gonna get into my reasoning here. Okay, the Bears' run defense is 27th in the NFL. Their overall defense isn't that great either, but their run defense is 27th in the NFL. Now, on Saturday, in particular, the winds, it's the Windy City for a reason. There's not supposed to be precipitation, although there is a slight chance of snow. That doesn't, you can ask players this, and they'll tell you this anyway, that they don't care about the precipitation. They care about the wind. The wind's supposed to be about 20 miles an hour, which means the teams are going to have to run the ball. I think Josh Jacobs is going to run all over this defense, which is also going to take away what has Dennis Allen's defense been able to do fantastically, and that's take the ball away. Most of it's been by interception. And I just don't think there's going to be as many throws. I also think Jordan Love is going to be a little bit more cognizant, a little bit better after his time off. So I just think the Packers are a better football team, even though they're the 7th seed and they're going on the road, and the line kind of shows that. But I'm just not that impressed, Gabe, with Ben Johnson. And again, he may prove me wrong. I may sit here next year and Bears might be the 1 seed. And look, there's no question Caleb Williams has been better this year, but that wouldn't have taken a whole lot. He was not good at all last year. He's certainly been better. He's certainly showing glimpses of why he could be that quarterback that I think that a lot of people thought he was going to be as the number 1 pick. I'm just not sold on Ben Johnson, and I don't like Caleb Williams. So that's the long-winded answer of why I think the Bears are overrated and not as good as Jacksonville.
And they have 2 coaches that Jim can't stand.
Well, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not a can't stand Dennis Allen guy. I just think that the Saints were dumb by keeping him that long. But
my only concern for all 3 of our picks, and if we lose this pick, this will be why.
Oh, we're going to lose it that we all 3 of us picked it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to lose.
I'm betting the Bears.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears averaged 5 yards per carry against the Packers this season.
And Derrick Henry ran all over the Packers.
Yeah. Packers have the 18th best run defense.
The Bears have run the ball really well with Ben Johnson. That's one area that vastly improved.
Swift and Mongai together are not Henry, but
I also think that
a lot of fun to watch.
Experience comes into play here too, as well too. And
I agree.
LaFleur has not done a great job.
That was my thing.
So we'll see. All right, I'm going to go back to you guys both like the Miami Ole Miss under. I agree with that pick. I like that pick too. But both of the reasonings that y'all gave basically pointed towards Miami winning this game. And y'all, I think y'all, again, don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you both think Miami's going to win this game. You know, maybe you do, maybe you don't.
I don't think Miami wins a shootout. I think it's correlated. If Miami wins, it's under.
I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as maybe y'all think it's going to be, but I agree that it's going to be lower scoring. Look, as long as Carson Beck doesn't screw this up, in my opinion, I think Miami wins this game going away.
The wild card.
I think that, and I've been talking about it, I just haven't made it my best bet yet. I keep thinking that all the drama this week about what coaches are going to go, what coaches aren't going, I think Ole Miss is probably, this got to affect them at all. And maybe I'll be wrong again. Maybe it won't affect them. In the grand scheme of things, like I said,
it's motivating them. Like I thought it was going to affect them when I picked against them in the beginning. Then I picked against them in Georgia.
Chambliss was so damn good against Georgia.
Is he going to be that good
again?
Can
he do that again against the
Miami defense faster than Georgia's defense? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know, man. He was so damn good in the Sugar Bowl.
Here's the thing: he'd seen the Georgia defense before. He hasn't seen.
That's
Miami.
true. That's absolutely true.
In Miami,
that's why I thought Kirby Smart can shut him down.
Miami has made a mockery of some really good offensive lines this season.
Hold on. Earl, the Bears don't have a better run game than the Packers. Sorry. Josh Jacobs is one of the top 4 or 5 running backs in the NFL.
And Eugene Wilson's pretty good too.
Sorry. That's absolutely not.
Unless he's talking about a better run game than the Jags.
Maybe. Okay. Well, then that's
in that case, I completely agree.
Okay, then that's fine.
What about Tootin? You don't like Tootin? Don't run Tootin?
No, he's a touchdown vaulter.
Rudy Toot. What is that? Is that a fantasy football piss? You get pissed about something fantasy?
I won my league with the ETN, so it is what it is. But Tootin pissed me off.
All right, my last pick, Texans Steelers. This is more of an anti-public pick. I kind of ignored the trends more than anything. The Steelers haven't won a Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. Houston's 0-8 on the road. We talk about the Monday Night Football thing. Yeah, okay.
You got to give here.
Something is going to give. One of the trends is going to end, right? You would think. But I alluded this earlier in the week. I think DK Metcalf being back for the Steelers is a big deal. And I also think that when you're talking about playoffs, y'all know what I think about Aaron Rodgers. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I do think that his experience is going to come to play here in this game, and he's going to love having him some DK back. I'm not with apathy thinking it's going to be a 16-13 game. I think it's going to be more in the lines of probably a 24-20 kind of game. But look, there's no question that the Texans defense is outstanding. I agree with all the things that Gabe, all the accolades Gabe's been talking about his own team. But in this case, going on the road and playing on a Monday night, being they're all the only game. But I think this is going to be a little bit much for Houston in the experience level. I've been talking a lot about experience, and I do think experience comes to play in this game. I like Aaron Rodgers here. I think this is in the old one last hurrah department. I think this is the final win of Aaron Rodgers' career. I think he rides off into the sunset after they get their ass kicked next week in Denver or wherever the hell, Jacksonville or wherever the hell. Well, I guess they wouldn't play in Jacksonville. Wherever the hell they play next week, I think this is Aaron Rodgers' last win, and then they go next week and crap the bed. That's my opinion. So.
I will give you a bonus pick for this game.
Earl was talking Jags.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll give you a bonus pick for this game. Obviously, you know it, Jim, because it was in my best bets originally.
Mm-hmm.
I like the over in this game.
Yeah,
I think it's too low. The Texans defense is
39.5 is the over under.
They've other than Tommy Togiai, they've got no depth at defensive tackle this year. They've had like 3 defensive tackles get hurt. They're getting the rookie back at safety, but their safety depth has been iffy. Their corner depth's been iffy. The Texans defense hasn't looked as good recently. I'm not as confident, I've said it all week, as everyone in the comments about this game. If I were to play it, I would probably, if I were forced to play the spread, I would probably side with you, Jim. But I also like the over.
It wouldn't surprise me if Houston won, but I told you the other day, I think because I'm basically going anti-public here, and I told you I either thought
line's too big.
Either Houston wins by 1 or 2, and then everybody loses because people are going to bet the money line anyway. So they might bet Pittsburgh money line at plus 110. I think it's plus 110, somewhere around there, plus 110, plus 120. And so if they bet the Pittsburgh money line, or they bet the Houston spread because they don't want to, everybody loses, and that's how Vegas wins. I could absolutely see Houston winning by a point here, but I just think Pittsburgh's going to win, so I'm going to take the 3. But I think it's going to be a really tight game, and I'm unlike apathy. I'm actually looking forward to this game because I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I really do. I think it's going to be a fun game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what CJ Stroud can do here in the playoffs on the road. I think that's going to be interesting.
You doing Super Bowl picks? We doing Super Bowl picks?
Well, we can if you want. I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead.
You got anybody?
I don't feel strongly right now. I think this is going to be such the crazy. Okay, I'll make a playoff pick. I'll make a Super Bowl pick, and I'm not going to stick with my Packers probably that I picked back in August. But let's go ahead and make a playoff. I'm going to let Gabe go first since you are already.
No, I'm not going first.
You don't want to go first?
About this
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I could see whoever wins Jacksonville.
Commenters, by the way, if the commenters want to make a Super Bowl pick, go ahead and we'll show them now. Go ahead.
I think whoever wins the Jacksonville Buffalo game is going for the AFC, and I think it's going to be Jacksonville, and I think it's the Rams. I think it's the Rams in Jacksonville.
Jags and Rams. So that's a 3 seed and a 5 seed. That's interesting. I'm going to say this. I think it's the most unpredictable NFL playoffs, and it's going to be the most fun playoffs we've seen in a while. Charles, you can't have Texans and Bills in the Super Bowl.
I cannot have that.
That's a possibility. They're both in the AFC.
Can I bet, Charles, that don't happen in the Super Bowl?
I'm not giving you any. That's actually a 0.0.
It's like betting the Texas Rangers to win the College World Series.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Gabe, now you're going.
Oh, boy. I think we see a rematch of a recent Super Bowl. I think we see.
It can't be Chiefs and Eagles.
Rams. I think we see Patriots Rams, but this one's the complete antithesis to the last one. I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
You think? Wait, what game do you think's about going in?
Patriots Rams.
Remember,
and it could be 13-10.
Okay.
Rams Patriots.
Oh, he
Super Bowl?
remembers it. That was the no call.
Yeah, how I was. Well, okay. I thought you meant the other Patriots Rams Super Bowl. I put that one out of my memory. The Tom Brady's first Super Bowl was also Patriots Rams.
I was talking the recent one.
Oh, that one doesn't count because I don't even know what you're talking about. That didn't exist. I literally, to this day.
He didn't even watch the
Super Bowl. I didn't watch. I did not watch one play.
My best friend bet
I went and played
over.
poker and I didn't want, and I purposely had them sit me with my back to the television. So I didn't watch a single.
I'll go Rams Patriots. I don't feel good about the AFC pick. I would absolutely love to say the Houston Texans, but I'm not going to.
What's that? I mean, if that
I'm not gonna.
All right, I guess that means I'm up. Let's see here. I am going to take one of y'all's picks. I just think the best team in the AFC right now really is the Jaguars. I really do. That doesn't mean they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm going to make that pick right now that they are going to go to the Super Bowl. And I agree with Nick that if the Bills somehow win, then they are going to go to the Super Bowl. So I picked Packers back in August. I picked Packers versus Ravens/Bills, and I ended up taking the Ravens. I think you held my feet to the fire, and then I picked the Packers to win it all. I'm going to get away from the Packers here. I just don't think they have enough, and being the 7th seed and having to go on the road, I don't think they can do it. So I'm going to pick Jaguars, Eagles, Super Bowl.
Wow.
Jaguars, Eagle, and as much as I don't have any faith in Sirianni whatsoever, I'm going to go with him to go back to the Super Bowl. And how about this? To hell with it. I'm going to go the plus 1,300. I'll pick the just to piss Mangus off. I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl. Y'all didn't pick a winner, did you?
No.
I got Rams. Matthew Stafford wins and goes and doesn't it retires.
It's boring. It's square. I'll take the Rams.
Charles is going to take Bills.
The way they've been playing?
The Rams are absolutely square. Their odds are like still stupid. Like you can't bet them. Like you really, unless you're just like super sure, which I don't know why anyone would be. The Rams are still second in the Super Bowl. They are plus 425. The only team with worse odds are the Seahawks at plus 330. And I wouldn't take the Seahawks with your money.
No.
Yeah.
Like you could give me money to bet on the Seahawks, and I'd probably go bet it on someone else and not tell you. And if I lost, I would just have to.
How are you going to trust Darnold over Stafford?
Third is the Broncos. I don't like any of those. So give me the Jags at plus 1,300. The Eagles at plus 950. I actually think that's a pretty good bargain for the defending champs. Earl says he wants Jags or Bills versus Rams or Seahawks. I hate the Seahawks. I can't really.
Me too.
I hate the Jags.
Obviously.
Did piss him off. Okay. Well. All right, gentlemen.
You good. You got your goal for the day, Jim. You pissed somebody off.
Yeah. Wow. That happens every day.
That's what I mean. It's just a goal.
I mean, it's not really a goal when you do it every day. I mean, it gets,
standard.
I mean, my wife told me last night, she said, she might be watching right now for all I know. She says, I do
she didn't tell me
every day that pisses her off.
Every day?
Every day. I do something every day.
What's the streak? Is it like every day of your life?
Our first date was 20 years ago, New Year's Eve, this past New Year's Eve. So,
I mean, think about it. Do anything every day for 20 years.
More than, what is that? How many days is that? 7,300 days? Yeah. So the streak, I pissed her off 7,300
Open the door the same way 7,300 days in a row. You can't do anything. I mean, feel proud, Jim. That's a good job.
I mean it's hard to do.
You can't do that many days in a row.
I mean, it really is hard to do. I mean, our first date, she picked me up and I was dressed nice coming from the airport. And then we went on a date. It was our first, we had been talking and we went on a date that night. It was our first real date. And I was in a sweatshirt and jeans. And she said, you ride on an airplane dressed nice like that? And then we go on our date and you're wearing a sweatshirt and jeans? Really? So
fun fact, I showed up to my first job interview in sweatpants because it was
you're Gen Z.
Well, no, it was because it was at a country club across from my high school, and they asked if I could come in for an interview 5 minutes after school got out. So I had to run from the school across the street.
I'm taking it didn't go well.
It did. I got the job.
Oh, wow. I didn't care that you were wearing sweatpants.
No, I had to apologize for doing
UBN
that.
showed up in his drawers for his first interview, but that's only because it was with his dad.
Yeah. I didn't really interview. People ask me how long I've been working there. I tell them since I've been a sperm.
Pretty much. That is the truth. All right. We will see. Good luck with your picks. Look, let's all go at 2-1 at the worst this week.
Go Packers.
All right. Go Packers.
No
I think we can all say go Packers,
Thursday.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Dom. Go Packers. See y'all next week.
I hope he watches. He's going to be so mad.
Yeah, no. He will be. All right. UBN and Gabe, everybody. That is going to wrap. We went long. It was fun. Look, if y'all don't have at least fun with the Pick'em segment, and I know not everybody watches it, but this is when we have our fun. I don't know how we're going to do this when all the football games are over and the Super Bowl's done. What are we going to give us some ideas? Wait, hold on. Y'all ready? I got to bring you back on real quick. There was a trivia question I had, y'all. Hold on. There's a because I'm leaning towards doing some kind of trivia contest when football's over to have y'all on Fridays. Okay.
Kind of trivia. I suck at that kind of stuff.
There's a current, and I don't know if you saw it on social media. Then
I know what you're going to ask, and I know the answer.
Then you have to disqualify yourself if you saw this. All right.
Yep.
There is a head coach in the NFL.
Yep.
Who has 3 more rushing yards than Bo Jackson? 5 more.
Oh, it's Jim. It's John or Jim Harbaugh. It's one of them.
It's Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the Harbaughs.
To figure out who that was.
That's like a ballroom trivia question.
I mean, y'all got to use that. So there you go, Dattitude family. Use that for your friends the next time you talk to them. What head coach in the NFL? And see how long it takes, because it took me forever to figure it out. And I'm like, at some point, I think I'd pick Harbaugh by process of elimination. I'm like, he's the only one that really did anything in the NFL that I could think of. Off the top of my
on
head.
offense.
On offense, right? On offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only one that it could possibly be. But it took me a long time to get there.
No, the question is, who has more rushing yards, Bo Jackson or John Harbaugh?
No. It's no fun that way. Because then they'll say, oh, it's got to be Jim Harbaugh because you're just like saying that if you're asking me that, it's got to be that. You ask them what heck, and then they sit there, they start going through every division. It takes them forever because nobody thinks of the Chargers anyway. The Chargers are an afterthought. So they're literally like one of the last teams you would think of. Anyway, there you go, Dat family.
Andy Reid would be scratched out in the beginning.
Yeah, well, who has the longest punt, pass, and kick contest?
I was just going to say that.
He was a giant.
Bobblehead. You bop him on the head and he kicks the ball. That old game. Rock 'em, sock 'em, whatever. All right. I'll see y'all later.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So I just wanted to give that treat out to the Dat family before we say goodbye. Jim Harbaugh. I think it wasn't like 5 yards. I mean, obviously, Bo Jackson, and I know his career was cut short by injury. It was something along the lines of like Jim Harbaugh had like over 2,300 rushing yards. I would have never thought. I mean, I knew he was fairly mobile quarterback. But quarterbacks didn't rush for that back then. I guess they did. So anyway, hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Before I go off, I want to say again, please subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. Tell your friends. If you've already subscribed, tell your friends. Send them the link. You know, you can press share on the show. Press share from the YouTube page. Copy the link. Send it to your friends. That's all I want from you this new year, this post-Christmas. Do us a favor. And then, of course, we want you to give us a like. It helps the algorithm, so they say. And, today, if you would have clicked the little bell, you would have known we were on Thursday instead of Friday. Doesn't happen often, but it is this week because we want you to enjoy, again, my opinion, the 5 greatest days of football in a row together. I mean, UBN can talk about Maction or whatever he wants to, but my 5 greatest days of football together, it's tonight with CFP, tomorrow with CFP, and then 3 straight days of NFL playoff football. Does it get any better than that? And also, yes, Charles, I will send the link about Doug Mouton, how to find me on Doug Mouton's show. Also, next week, we will have memberships I'll figure out how to do that. Also, if you want to just listen to the podcast, you don't want to see my ugly mug or Gabe's ugly mug or UBN or Zach or anybody else, you can, of course, find us on Apple, Spotify, and many more, and just listen to it in the car. So enjoy those 5 days of football. Have a wonderful, glorious, fantastic weekend. That's right. We're taking Friday off here at Dattitude. We will see you all on Monday. And until then, take it easy, my friends.